Hey, what's up, Silas here. This is going to be an entry in my annoying saying series where I just talk about certain things I find kind of annoying that might not be annoying to other people, but might be annoying to you as well. You can let me know. We're going to be talking about IRL today, in real life. That saying kind of annoys me, even though I kind of get it. But let's get into the video. Okay, I kind of lied about saying I do kind of get it because I get kind of why people say it. People talk about it like, oh, if you're online doing something, then if you're in person, in the real world doing it, so in real life, that's a kind of situation where people talk about that thing. But where does that come from? It might be an offshoot of keeping it real, where somebody says if you're in person, if you're talking to somebody, you're putting on an act. So maybe the whole thing like online, people might say certain things to you that they wouldn't say to you in person or that kind of thing comes into there, but I still don't understand the base aspect of it. Because what is so unreal out of your real life about the internet? When you really think about that situation, it's an integral part of our life right now. Even if it's somebody in the countryside, let's say go to the rural area in Kenya, in western Kenya, where the tribe that I'm from is at, and there's still people out there who live who've never seen a computer, never been into like directly using the internet, don't have smartphones and things like that. I think actually in the village where my dad grew up, they're actually just putting in electricity in that place right now. So in a place like that, somebody might be there sitting, listening to the radio with a couple of friends. People might think, oh, that's IRL. If somebody goes out and they're sitting in the radio in a bar or something and they're hanging out with friends and they're listening to the radio, that's the people in real life. That's something IRL. But even if they don't use the computer directly, the internet itself has played a part in getting the beer that they're drinking at that bar, getting the batteries there, getting the radio there. The radio station that's beaming that thing might be beaming the things out to space and coming back down in some kind of ways. There's different things that are involved in actually getting the content to that person because the internet is just part of our life right now. It's part of our world. It's part of how we live. So I think this idea of saying IRL is different, I don't necessarily get that. So if you're in that situation where you're doing something in public, you're doing something with friends, you're doing something in person, yes, there is some added aspect of the physical, actually signs, you can tell body language and things like that. But there's some people who are rather muted in their body language. Like if I'm just sitting here talking like this without moving around, then what's the real benefit from you actually being here in person with me? Versus if you're having an animated conversation with somebody you really care about over a video chat, streaming over Skype, isn't that still IRL? Or is it more IRL because you're calling somebody on the phone and that's still more analog? I don't really get that aspect of it. If you're playing a game by yourself, you're playing a game by yourself, is that not IRL? Is that some kind of hidden type of thing? But if that game is connected to the internet and you're streaming this and you're playing with somebody in another country somewhere else, it's a competitive game, you're talking on like the mics and everything and having and hearing the person and things like that. You can even get a situation where you're talking to somebody and you're doing the video chat and you're beaming it on something like Twitch or these other things, streaming it to a bunch of other people watching it. How is that not IRL? I think that's still IRL. I think that's still part of people's real life. If you're watching something like Netflix, which is based on streaming, is that not IRL because it's not TV, because it's not broadcast? And somebody asked me this, is there ever going to be a time when they're actually going to stop the regular broadcast TV where it's sent out? I think it's going to stop, like, go back like radio. But anyway, going back to the actual point here. So if you're doing something like that, if you're outside reading a book, is that IRL? Because you're outside in public in a coffee shop. Why is it different if you're in your house listening to an audiobook that's being streamed from Audible or something like that? Why is that not IRL? If somebody's telling you the story in person, narrating it, versus somebody having it recorded on an audiobook or a podcast, what's not IRL about these other forms in that kind of situation? And I think this is a part and parcel of IRL. Now, if reading a book is IRL, but an audiobook streamed online is not IRL, if you find it on YouTube or some other kind of streaming service, that's not IRL, then where do something like the digital readers come by? Do you have to have physical paper to actually be flipping the pages for it to be IRL in that sense in real life? I don't necessarily think so. So I think the internet is a tool. It's a regular form of communication that actually we've become used to. And I think the world is changing slowly by slowly. I've talked about the information age and we're getting into the age of understanding. And I think that's going to change things. Imagine where most of the people making these big decisions, these big movers and shakers in the world, have been growing up in a life, in an existence, where they've been having conversations with people all over the world. their idea, the way they look at the world, is involving actually the entire continent, the entire globe, Earthlings in that kind of sense. Versus this sense where most of the people who are making the biggest decision in the world right now are people who've grown up before the internet. And I think you can see this. There was recently an interview by Prince Andrew, who's in the royal family of England, second son of Queen Elizabeth. He's embroiled in the whole Jeffrey Epstein pedophile thing, and Epstein didn't kill himself. These memes and all these things are going on. And this is just another example of me seeing, like, look, these people have no idea what the world is right now. This guy went on a BBC News night and he's trying to do this set-up interview to try and cover his tracks and things like that. I don't know what he was thinking because it just looks horrible and the optics of it, I didn't think anyone was buying it. And there might still be a large amount of people that would buy this thing, but I'm seeing the memes, I'm seeing the people coming at him and like, look, we have the information. Stuff is going around. You can't really stop this thing. The internet, the sharing of information is now part of people's real life. Whereas in the past, there was a limited control on information. People used to do things in different ways. And I'm sure there was a time when people were like, oh, reading a letter, that's not IRL. The telegram, that's not IRL. Phone calls, that's not IRL. But now, those things are considered to be part of IRL. That's how we've lived. IRL, annoying say. Let me know what you guys think about that. Like, share, and subscribe. Links below in the comment bar. Thank you guys for watching. Not the comment bar, it's the low bar. But talking about comments, please leave some comments below. Part of the enjoyment that I've had is being able to get online and find a lot of information that has helped me in my life, and I'm still trying to make the most out of that. And part of that is making these videos and returning some of this information out there and interacting with people in the comments. Okay, that's it for this video. Goodbye.